Hello everyone, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel, and this is my review of the Taurus M85 Model 85. Bam. Okay, there we go. Now, normally when I do a video like this, I like to get the box it comes in, open the box up, show you what's inside. I don't have any of that. I don't have the box it came with anymore. I really don't have any literature, just gun. Just the gun. Sorry? So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the Taurus M85. So this is a 38 special double or single action revolver made by Taurus. 5-shot, 38 special, kind of snub-nosed, 2-inch barrel. On revolvers you measure the barrel length like this, right after the chamber, I guess, right after the cylinder. This is 2 inches. And it's kind of designed or intended as a old style, old school concealed carry firearm. Is that what I use it as? No, not really. For me, really, it's a range gun. If anything else, I think revolvers are cool. I love revolvers. I love a good wheel gun. And while this is not the nicest one I've ever owned, I like it and it stays in the collection. So let's talk about the Taurus M85. Now, Taurus has offered this gun for a while. It's been replaced by a newer model, and I'll touch on that later. But even when Taurus was offering the M85 at different configurations, you can get a 2-inch barrel, a 3-inch barrel. There was like an ultralight aluminum framed version. You can get it blued, or I guess it's more of a parkerization. You can get stainless, different kinds of grips. This is the one I got. I believe I bought this about 3 years ago. So start at the bottom. Start with the grip. Apologize, I think I have a little bit of cold or allergies coming on. Start with the grip. I actually really like this grip. It's intended to look like a bull, a Taurus. It's kind of... Alright, yeah, there it is. There's the bull. It kind of works. But I think the texture on this grip is actually really, really good. The rubber is phenomenal. It's a really nice rubber grip. It's just big enough for me to get a full purchase on this. Actually, very comfortable to hold in the hand. Good job, Taurus. Now, there are other versions of that. Taurus has put other kinds of grips on this in the past, maybe slightly longer ones. I don't think this needs anything else. I think this is pretty good the way it comes. You have the cylinder release. This is kind of I guess, more of a Smith & Wesson style where you push in. And the cylinder release on this gun has always been just a little bit sticky, and a little bit of force needed to get that out. It's not as smooth as other guns. This is a $200 gun when I bought it. And it's just not as smooth as other guns. However, to get a gun much more smoother than this, like what I'm trying to get at, I apologize, is that for the price of $200, it's pretty phenomenal. You can get better revolvers, but you spend a lot more money doing it. This is the lock. There is a lock. I do actually have that part. What you would do is, this is not the lock. You would put this in here, put it in, rotate, keep rotating until this pops out. And it's basically like a lock. I don't care for that, but I did happen to have it. So that's never going to be used. But I thought I'd show it anyway, because I do actually have that. It's the hammer. Like I said, this is double or single action. Make sure it's unloaded again. Double or single action, you can pull like this, which is very heavy and stagey and difficult to use, or single action, which is a little easier. The sights are milled into the gun and are basically not adjustable in any way, but they do work pretty well. Now, one upgrade you might do is you might actually paint this front sight a very bright fluorescent, maybe orange or white color, give yourself a little bit of contrast. However, the sights do work. Trigger guard, trigger guard, cylinder release, cylinder, ejection rod. This is a 2-inch barrel, measuring this dimension right here. This is 2 inches. I do like it when the ejection rod is kind of shrouded by the barrel. I just think that's a good look. The finish on this gun is not particularly good. It looks like the gun was finished and then stamped, which is an odd way of doing that. But you see how the lettering has some whiteness to it? I believe that the gun was finished and then stamped over that, and that's why it looks kind of irregular or poorly done. To make it look nicer, you would stamp that first, then finish it. While a lower price point gun, I think it looks pretty handsome. I like the way this barrel looks. I like how the barrel kind of encloses the ejector rod. I think it's a nice looking gun. Now, a question that comes is, how does it shoot? I'm going to start by saying that a lot of people are not very good at shooting double or single action revolvers. I like to think I'm okay. Let's call some targets. We're having fun. Call some targets. So, "7 yards, double action," surprised me. And the reason it surprised me is, if you look at the way this gun pulls, as I'm doing this, it just suddenly kind of jumps. And it's hard to anticipate that. So what I kind of tend to do, so I'm shooting double actions, I actually put my finger in a little further than you might normally do, and brace my finger right here. I'm kind of staging the trigger. So now I'm basically shooting single action, because I'm staging the trigger. And when I do that, I get a little more accurate. So this is kind of 7 yards double action. The group's not that great. So this is me 7 yards single action. A little better. Oh, here we go. This is 10 yards double action. And this is me kind of staging the trigger. So when I'm staging the trigger like that, I can get decent accuracy at 10 yards. Now, I wrote 7 yards single action, but I'm pretty sure that was 10, I think. Point being, even though this was 7 yards, at 7 to 10 yards, this gun is combat accurate in the right hands. And there are a lot of people who just suck at shooting revolvers. I mean, there's a lot of people who suck at shooting semi-automatic pistols, and they are even worse at shooting revolvers. It's hard to shoot a double action revolver well. It's even harder if the trigger isn't very good, like this one. However, I do like this gun. It is a fun range toy for me. I like shooting it. I'm probably going to keep it because it's not worth selling, to be honest. And I like it. I have other revolvers that I think are nicer than this, but this is a fun little gun for me to shoot every once in a while. So what is this gun's intended role? This gun is intended as like a concealed carry firearm that you continually make sure this is unloaded. You pull it out, you go, and at that point you're done. At that point you kind of just throw the revolver at someone and run away. If that hadn't solved the situation. Can you reload this? Yeah, but it's not going to be fast. There are a couple things you can do. These aren't specific to this gun, so this is not going to work. But you can use speed loaders, stick them in, rotate this. You can use speed strips, which actually probably would work. You stick them in, you kind of just rip these off. I'm not going to leave that in the gun. But this is intended as a concealed carry firearm. Now, I will admit that while I love revolvers, I do. I'm not going to stay here and say, oh, revolvers are better than semi-automatic pistols. They're more reliable, and this and that. No, I just like revolvers. And if I had the option of carrying a gun, I would carry something like this, or my Smith & Wesson 380 Easy. Either one. Now, is this really good for anything else besides possibly concealed carry? I would say not really, no. For a home defense firearm, I think you'd want something a little bigger, even if it was a revolver. I think you want something a little bigger, easier to shoot. It's not really a hunting gun. It's not really a competition gun. Just mostly for me, and I think other people, just a fun range gun and possibly concealed carry firearm. I've put many hundreds of rounds to this gun. I don't know how many. I would say anywhere between 500 and 1,000, and I think it's looking pretty good. There's some wear here on the cylinder. I haven't really cleaned it all that much. Never really taken it apart. I guess I'll just might as well point there. Really haven't cleaned it all that much. Maybe I should give it a good cleaning one day. Now, for that role of a concealed carry firearm, yes, I can recommend it because it has worked for me. Now, with any firearm that you might use for concealed carry or home defense or for serious use, you should put probably about 200 rounds through just to make sure it's working properly. And if it's good to go, then it's good to go. Now, is there anything else I can mention? Any other accessories or negatives or positives? There really aren't any accessories to go along with this. I mentioned the speed strips. I mentioned the speed loaders. I mean, not really. You can't really change the sights out because the sights are milled into the gun. The only thing you can really accessory to go along with it is a holster. And I'm sure there are either holsters specifically made for this, or holsters made, generalized holsters that will fit J-frame revolvers, and this will probably fit a Smith & Wesson J-frame revolver holster. The only other thing I can mention about the Taurus M85 is that it has been replaced. It's been replaced by the Taurus Model 856. This is a 5-shot 38 special revolver, and the 856 is a 6-shot. And my understanding the way they did it is they made the cylinder, either the cylinder or the gun, just a little bit bigger. So the 856 is going to be a small amount bigger, and they get 6 shots in there. So it's been replaced. However, I think if you saw this in a store, I wouldn't hesitate to pick it up if you got a really good deal on it. The only thing I can mention is that if you're hitting the injector rod, see how the cylinder is very close to the frame of the gun, it doesn't swing all that out all that far. Sometimes if you hit the ejector rod, casings can kind of get stuck in here. That the ejector rod will come out, but the case maybe over here on this side won't come out. They'll just get a little stuck, and you gotta kind of hit it a few times, just knock it out. So it really isn't all that fast to reload. It is just an old school snubby revolver, and I think that it excels. So this is Steven from the Even Steven channel. I think I've rambled enough. I can recommend the Taurus M85 revolver for what's intended for. Concealed carry firearm. There are other guns, of course. You want to say there are better guns, that's fine. But for a fun range toy or concealed carry firearm, yeah, it works. It would work. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you and goodbye.